If your organization meets the ACA classification for an applicable large employer, you face serious financial consequences if you do not comply with both the coverage mandate and the related reporting obligations of the Affordable Care Act. There is a monthly risk of coverage penalties, and there is a yearly risk of filing penalties. Each penalty can add up very quickly, and none of them can be deducted as business expenses. First, we will look at the coverage penalties, which have come to be known by the names one employee benefits lawyer gave them when they first were announced: the sledgehammer and the tack hammer. Each of these penalties is triggered when one employee who has not been offered a health plan or a compliant health plan gets subsidized coverage on an exchange. It is important to note that the numbers you see for these monthly assessments are for tax year 2018. These penalty amounts go up every year. Let's learn more about these penalties. An employer who offers no health plan is at risk of the ACA sledgehammer penalty. The trigger for this penalty is the IRS finding through its data crunching that an employee who is eligible for an employer-sponsored plan did not get an offer of health insurance from his or her employers. Instead, they sought coverage on an exchange and got a subsidy or a tax credit for that coverage. Here's how the multiplier works for the sledgehammer penalty. If you have an employee that was eligible for coverage in a certain month, and your 1095-C reporting for that tax year shows that no offer of coverage was made to that employee in that month, then the penalty you're facing is $193.34 multiplied by all your ACA-defined full-time employees. That's for that month and all months afterward in that tax year. Remember, the multiplier you see on this bottom line is per employee and per month. An employer who offers a health plan but does not meet ACA standards, either for quality or affordability, is at risk of the ACA tack hammer penalty. The backstory on this reference to a lighter hammer is that architects of the Affordable Care Act did not want an employer who made an effort to offer health insurance to be hit with a higher penalty than an employer who offered no health insurance. So the sledgehammer goes away and the hit comes from a tack hammer when, through its data crunching, the IRS finds that the employee who got subsidized coverage on an exchange worked at a place where an employer-sponsored plan was offered, but that plan just happened to be an ACA non-compliant plan. A tack hammer penalty can go up to but not exceed the sledgehammer penalty. The IRS will be assessing penalties to employers who, in the previous tax year, did not provide an employer-sponsored health plan or one that met ACA standards to 95% of their ACA-defined full-time workers. Organizations that do not have stable workforces or higher paid employees with consistent hours have the greatest risk of being hit by these coverage penalties. If you are in one of the industries listed here or your company's workforce meets the description given, it's important to be aware of and proactive in managing the risk of the penalties we've just reviewed. The penalties we just reviewed are monthly risks and are ACA specific to non-compliance with the coverage mandate. But there is also the yearly risk of a significant penalty for non-compliance with the ACA reporting obligation. Failure to produce IRS Forms 1095-C and 1094-C, which document the availability of health insurance at a workplace, may result in a penalty of $520 per required form. This non-filing penalty is the same financial consequence an employer faces for not producing a W-2 form. So remember, employers with an ACA pay strategy, that is choosing to accept the penalties for not complying with the coverage mandate. You must still produce and file Forms 1095-C and 1094-C. You have to document employees' access to coverage, even if to say there is no access. Also, if all along you've been offering quality health coverage to your employees that is affordable, that is, you were complying with the coverage mandate before there was a coverage mandate, you must still meet the reporting requirement. You must still produce and file IRS Forms 1095-C and 1094-C to prove what you have been offering. Here's a link with more resources for you, such as blog posts, more educational videos, an easy ACA to-do checklist, an ebook with much more information, and IRS resources so you can fact-check the guidance we're giving. Thank you for joining us. We hope you have found this presentation informative. Please make sure to check out all of our educational resources on the Affordable Care Act. And as always, let us know how else we can help you.